Hi everybody, Lorraine here. Thanks so much for joining me again. And today is a really important day for me because this is a day I get to talk to a real leading industry pro. One of the guys who, if I have questions about our industry, I'm going to call him. And even though he has a huge job, he's going to pick up the phone and say, "Yeah, how can I help you?" And I love that. That is so important for us in the industry to get help where we need it and to reach out. And I've always been one of those people where people can reach out to me and I will answer if I can. And we all need somebody like that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Lindsay Pearlman, who is the Senior Vice President of Travel Leaders Network. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Lorraine. I'm fine. How are you? I'm blushing here with that introduction.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
You know that you're one of the good guys, actually, Lindsay. You're one of those people for the last 20 years. You are always in it for the agents. You kind of got that passion and that fire for travel, but at the same time, you're not sort of corporate-y in the way that we can't approach and say, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I love that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I look at it this way. If you can't get excited about the travel business, you got a problem. Like, think about what we do for a living, right? In general terms and supporting of the travel advisor, it's really about making people's experiences wonderful in their life. Like, when somebody wins the lottery, and you hear this all the time, when somebody wins the lottery and say, "What are you going to do with the money?" What's the first thing that person says when they respond?
Travel.
I want to travel. Right. So, how do I describe it? It's like in life, we have postcard moments, those aha moments that we kind of put in the back of our minds and we remember years from now and we smile. And most of my postcard moments in conjunction with family are all related to travel. So you got it. How do you not get excited about this? If you can't get excited about this industry, I don't know what really would drive you.
Yeah, no, you're right. I have a client who's in his early 90s, and he says to me, he travels because he said, "I get quality time with my family." He said, "I'll pay for their cruises, but the deal is they have to have dinner with us every single night." And he said, "And when do I get the opportunity to spend every night with all of my kids and the grandkids and the great grandkids all in one table for 12 nights or 14 nights?" And he said it's the best thing ever. And it's getting together, it's making memories. When we were kids, you'd read the stories, somebody would read you a story, and how many times did we in our minds picture where that story was set, Jungle Book or something like that, and it's making those memories, and now we can make them in reality, in person, right?
Yeah. And and as well as I do, us travel people are the worst because we never go on vacation. And then when we do go on vacation, you're sitting there going, now I understand why we need to go on more vacations.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, you can talk for yourself on that one because I go on vacation.
Good for you.
I'm addicted. I tell you, biggest aphrodisiac for me is airline fuel. I mean, it's like, it's like you smell that fuel and it's like, oh, going away. Yeah.
So let me ask you, where's the big trip? Where are you going?
Yeah, I went to Edmonton recently and it was great. I had a blast. It was really good. We went to Edmonton. I didn't know anything about Edmonton. I had an idea of what Edmonton was like, and I really loved it. It was a travel opportunity for me to go and experience a new place. Doesn't matter where it is. It's an experience, and that's what we're doing. We're collecting experiences.
Yeah, Edmonton's a beautiful city. Yeah. Most people, you got to go. To your point, here's the thing. If most Canadians have not traveled across the country, right? Most Canadians really haven't been able to see the beauty from coast to coast. And it's an interesting thing because as we come out of all this mayhem, and people are really excited about travel, and we know that they are. Like, there's a huge pent-up demand, and you must be going crazy. And the people that I talk to are going crazy now with looking with travel inquiries and bookings into 2022 and 2023. But the opportunity in the short term is to go and explore our country.
Yep.
Right. Like, we don't know what international rules are. They change on a daily basis. I don't know if you've heard, but even we're based in the Ontario area. I'm just north of Toronto, and the rules changed today. So things are opening up. We're at level 2, which is fantastic news.
Yes.
Yay. Right. I can get a haircut. I'm so excited.
I know.
But it's about really exploring the country. And Canadians, we just don't do that. It's not like our American friends, they go across the U.S. right now. You're seeing it's out of control. They're traveling like crazy domestically. We need to encourage more of that with Canadians. Right? When the premiers figure it out and the borders start to open up and allow Canadians to travel freely across our own country, explore. It's coast to coast. I've been fortunate that I've done it a few times. And I'm not just talking east to west. Go north. Like, it's Yellowknife. Unbelievable. If you can sit there and you watch the Aurora Borealis, and at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're all snuggled up with a big bonfire, spectacular. Spectacular. See, I'm getting all excited.
Yes, it's the passion. It's brilliant. But we can, a lot of people are going to do this year because the summer isn't dead yet, and people can go around the country and explore and go to BC and go to Vancouver Island and go to out east, hopefully. Out east is a little bit slower to open up, but they will, and really explore, because I think that's definitely the first step of people's comfort level that I'm finding. But one of the things that I am also finding is, I quit selling travel last year. I quit, but I've got 3 clients that I'm keeping, and said, I'll just take care of these 3 because I can't just dump them. One of the things that I'm finding is it's really hard to get space for things like cruises, for things like Vegas, things like that, because we are a little bit behind USA, and the space is filling up fast. So what's your advice to people, consumers right now? What's your advice for them?
2 things. If you're thinking of going, book now. Like you bring up a really good point. So if you take a look at the pandemic issues, like other issues in the past, whether it be economic, Canada usually follows the States. So if you want to have a good idea of where we're going to be going as an industry, you take a look at what's happening in the United States. The United States right now, it's like a different planet. People are booking, they're booking like crazy. Now, there's 2 things to keep in mind here. One is capacity that's available is less. So if you're thinking about booking a cruise, that cruise line may be going out at 40 or 50% capacity. So think about that. Half the ship will be empty. So that means the availability of product is cut in half. That also means that as you get closer and those are selling, it means the prices are going to go up. Right. So my suggestion is, take a good look at what the terms and conditions are. And this is why you need a travel advisor, because the travel advisor will do this for you. They'll let you know what the protocols are. They'll let you know what cancellation or change looks like. Are there change fees? Can you change for free? Do you have to pay if there's a difference in cabin rates or just any type of product? And then when you have something in mind, lock it in now, because if you wait, it's going to go away. Even with the Canadian tour operators, we don't know how that's going to open up quite yet. But when it does, there'll be limited capacity in Canadians' favorite destinations in Mexico and such. The resorts are going to go out at 40 or 50% capacity, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, depends on the resort. We don't know. But that basically means that, that trip that you took with your family that cost, I don't know, one price, this year it might be double. My brother-in-law my brother-in-law goes to the same place every single year. They love it. And he readily expects his cost to this year double.
Wow.
For the same time. Now, but here's the neat thing about it. Most people you talk to don't care. They just want to go.
Let's go.
You know,
Yeah.
now, will things normalize down the road? They absolutely will. But as it relates to this year and going into next year, don't delay.
Won't wait.
Just call a travel advisor. They understand all the nuances. They understand everything that's required. They understand the flexibility with certain suppliers, and put your deposit down and secure your space.
Yeah.
Or be prepared to be flexible and pay more a little bit down the road.
Well, it's interesting, you know, that leads me to my next question of, can we travel this year? So I was the MC last year at the actor conference, and one of my little sketches, because we were talking, it was very serious. So actor said, "Hey, Lorraine, if you want to have a bit of fun with it, that's fine." So I did a few comedy sketches in between. And one of the things I said is that I feel like we are in a lineup at Disney. Because every time you know, when you're at Disney and you turn the corner and you think you're about to get on a ride, and all of a sudden you turn a corner and you're actually entering another big room with a whole chicane of people waiting. And really, we're about all the way through that Disney ride lineup. We've got through all the rooms. We've seen all the big video screens, and we're getting to that point where we're going chugga, 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 chugga slowly up the hill. But once we get to the top of that hill, it's going to be absolutely the ride of our lives, because everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to just revenge of travel, they call it, right? Get going. So what about this year? Can we travel this year in your opinion?
Absolutely. But be careful. Like, I was thrilled when I heard, what is it, yesterday, they announced that Italy has opened up to Canadians.
Yes.
Right. So I'm thrilled because my family and my wife and daughter, who are probably watching right now, hi. You know, the talk around our table is, where do you want to go? And Italy comes up, right? Like, you know, go to Venice, sit by the Grand Canal, sipping a cappuccino. There's like not much better in life. So Italy opens up. So we're really excited about that. But you got to be careful, because a prime example, if let's say you have to fly through Paris to go on to Italy, Italy might be open up, but if you fly through Paris and Paris doesn't open up, they'll stop you at Charles de Gaulle and they won't let you get on a plane. So you can travel this year, but again, I implore people to use a travel advisor, because they'll understand the nuances that allow you to travel. Yes. Like just a few weeks ago, France required a special visa, right, as an essential traveler. So these rules change all the time. It almost seems like some international travel is a little easier to do than domestic travel, even, because look I don't know if you saw what happened with the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia border yesterday. People were blocking the border. This is just insanity. The Canadian market as a whole needs to open up. That's great for the survival of the industry, which has taken a spectacularly bad hit through this. I don't think people really that are outside of the business understand that this was an industry that was negative revenue. Think about it. Right. People were working with no money coming in while they were giving money back to the consumer, which was the right thing to do. But it also shows the importance of the advisor. So remove the restrictions from province to province. Let people travel right now, which they can. And when they look at international, be careful. Do your homework with the travel advisor, but you can travel internationally. It'll be very restrictive. The risk is the rules change all the time. So you could arrive in destination with one set of expectations, and while you're in destinations, those expectations can change.
Yeah, we have to be very open to that. I'm booking something because we bought tickets about 2 years ago now. We bought tickets to the Andrea Bocelli concert. So we've got first class, front row executive tickets, $1,000 a ticket. And we have 6 of them. So then
Wow.
this year, the concert's still going on. And my clients, they said to me, well, the concert's going on, so we're not giving you a future credit anymore. They've actually now gone back on that. But at the time, we're not giving you a future credit. So we said, okay, we'll travel. And then, okay, we'll travel. We found a flight on a very good airline, very nice airline with one stop, not a long stop, short stop, under $800. The problem is, if we use that flight, we find out if we use that flight, we have to quarantine when we reach Italy for 10 days. If we use the Air Canada flight, which is a COVID tested flight approved by the government, we don't have to quarantine. But they're not saying that. You can still buy the flights into Italy. So the confusion, it says, oh, Italy's opening up. And then consumer goes online and says, oh, Italy's open. Okay, Canadians can go into Italy. I'm going to book this $800 flight that I found instead of this, much more expensive one from the COVID tested flight. And I'm going to go for that. And I'm going to get to Italy. And then they're going to get there and they're going to have to quarantine. So use a travel advisor, because the travel advisors know this stuff. And that's what they've spent the last year doing. All the education, like travel leaders have put out so much stuff, education, to keep the travel advisors on top of all of this, right? So it's, that's what you're paying for. You want somebody to help you. That's what you're paying for.
Well, exactly. Like here's another little tip that a travel advisor would know, but most people wouldn't get. Car rentals, right? So you could go to some destinations right now, and to rent a car will cost you anywhere from $200 to $700 a day. A day. Now, why? Because when the pandemic hit, a lot of car rental companies offloaded a lot of their inventory, right? They sold all their cars. Now you come back to where we are today, there's a delay in manufacturing of new cars for a whole bunch of different reasons. The car manufacturers aren't providing product to the car rental companies because they can sell the cars for retail first, which they are. So there's a shortage of cars. So what a travel advisor will recommend is, before we book the flight, look at the cost of the car. Because if you go for 10 days and a car costs you $500 a day, it's $5,000 just for a car. It'll cost you more to rent that car than to stay in hotels or on property someplace. So these are little things that normally no one would ever think about. You book your flight, you book your hotel, I'll take care of the car later. No. Yeah. Right now, if you need a car, look at the car first before you book your flight.
Right.
Right. So these are things in highly unusual times. And you know what? Booking it online, a computer can't tell you that. It just can't. Right? A human being can. So
then you need a person. So that's an interesting thing you said about cars. What about cruises?
Well, cruises, again, another moving target, right? Because what's happening is there's limited capacity. What's available or what's taken out of inventory changes on a daily basis, right? A lot of it has to do with protocols, and I highly applaud the cruise industry, right? The industry as a whole has gotten such a bad rap over this whole thing. People don't realize to be on a cruise ship is a much cleaner and healthier environment to be in a hotel. And that's not saying hotels are poor environments. That's not the case at all. It's just that they've been, for years and years, have been very, very diligent. And they're doing the exact same thing with their COVID protocols. So I applaud them. They've taken a stance. And part of that stance is, for the most part, if you're not vaccinated, you can't get on our ship. Or the other ones that are saying, if you aren't vaccinated, you can get on the ship, but you have to wear a mask. You can't get off the ship. You have to wear a band that says, in other words, they're making it very difficult for somebody to be on the ship that hasn't been vaccinated.
Yeah.
And I get there's reasons why people choose or don't choose to be vaccinated. But the other side of it is the industry specifically on the cruise industry is making a decision, and they're standing by that decision. So again, if you're booking cruises further out, into 22 and 23. That's fine, and I'll tell you that inventory is selling like crazy. World cruises are like sold out.
Yes.
For 2022, 2023. But if you're looking to book a cruise right now, again, work with the travel advisor. Be cognizant of what inventory is available, what the protocols are. Q3 is a little iffy. Q4 is better, but there is product out there, for a Caribbean cruise. Or please get me on the ship right now. The Celebrity Edge is about to go out. I'm very excited to hear about that.
Yeah. Do you know, I've never done a celebrity cruise, and I love Celebrity as a company to work with, but I've never ever done a celebrity cruise. And Keith and I are going to this concert in Italy, and I said, you know what, the pricing at the moment for this year is very good, because there's a lot of inventory this year that people are still iffy about booking, but next year, forget it, you're not going to get on anything. So the pricing for this year, and it's like you book a celebrity cruise, you get, and I don't mean to advertise here because I'm not working with them, but you get things like, everything's in, your drinks, your specialty dining, your everything. And if you do that, and I thought, maybe we'll tack on a few days and go and try it out, because at the deals that are going out at the moment, they're brilliant. I'm really, so I think we might do it.
And get on one of their new ships. They are spectacular. Like, the way I've described it is, if you're on a regular cruise ship, they have a lot of art on the wall, and it's beautiful, and they do a great job with it. Celebrity, the ship is the art. Like, the design of these ships are just crazy. They're beautiful. Wow. So it's great. You'll love it. Get on one of the ships, you'll love it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not same thing.
Yeah, I grew up in Cyprus, and a lot of places are up and coming now as being the in places to go because of fewer people and lesser known destinations and that sort of thing. And one of the cruises goes to Cyprus, and I thought, well, that would be kind of fun to go back there, because I'm showing my age now, but we were evacuated in the war. So that's in 1974. And I remember it too.
Wow.
So, so I remember it really well. We were evacuated. We ended up back in England in flip-flops in the middle of winter. And my dad had to stay over there, and we had no clothes. And I'll never forget the smell when we walked into this big sort of hangar area, because we came into like an Air Force base on an Air Force plane. And we go into this big Air Force hangar, and the Salvation Army had brought in a whole bunch of clothing that we could pick up. And the smell of musty, moldy clothes, I was like, I'm not getting any of that. I'm not wearing that. Oh, no. I remember it so well. I remember the smell. Sometimes I still go into places and I go, that brings back memories. But
powerful. Well, you said at the beginning, like, smell, how important it is. You like the smell of jet fuel.
Yeah, I do.
Right? So But you bring up a really good point on destinations, because pre-COVID, there was the whole issue of over-tourism in a lot of the big cities, right? Yeah. It was just crazy. Yeah. Not such an issue now. But what a lot of these destinations are now looking at, they're saying, well, how do we, as we ramp back up, how do we control our tourism in these cities? Venice is a prime example of it in the middle of the summer. But what you're also seeing, and there was a theme, as I said, pre-COVID, and I hope this continues, is smaller cities, more cities off the beaten path that people are going to. And there's a lot of tour operators, like Globus, as an example, offers those type of tours where they're secondary cities, for lack of a better term, but far fewer people. You get the real feel of the culture when you're in destination. It's less craziness, that you see in some of these other cities. So that's something when people are thinking about returning to travel to think about too.
Yeah, and also to research what the place, how they coped during COVID. I had somebody the other day, and I won't mention where they wanted to go, but And somebody talked to me the other day about going somewhere. And this particular place had not done very well with the COVID numbers, but they were open. And so they said, oh, no, we're going. We're fully vaccinated. And they're still struggling with high numbers and difficulty in hospitals and things like that. And I said, okay, well, you're fully vaccinated, so you feel safe going. What if you break a leg? Oh, they hadn't thought of that. And I said, so there are certain things that you have to think of now. You know, what was the country like? How much did they struggle financially? Is crime increasing because people did not get the CERB in third world countries? So there's all kinds of things that we have to think about. Are we cognizant of where we're going, what that's going to look like, how safe we're going to be when we're there, and all of those things? And that's where travel agents have spent a lot of time researching things like that, because it's not just about the COVID numbers. It's about, you know, how safe are we if we break a leg, if we fall off a scooter, if we trip on the way out of the pool, and that's something to think about too.
Well, you bring up a really good point. Now, you know, everybody lives on a bit of a spectrum, right, on what your comfort levels are. Some people are very comfortable, some people aren't. But you highlight one thing. It's like, if you're getting on an airplane, especially now, you better have travel insurance.
Yes.
Right. You know, the way healthcare is looked upon around the world is not the way healthcare is looked upon in Canada. And people need to be comfortable with that and understand it. So investing in travel insurance, you know, may it be never used and you complain about it that you threw the money away. But if you ever talk to anybody that has ever had to use it, it's worth its weight in gold.
Worth it.
But there are some destinations, like you're right, like, you know, the crime has gone up. You know, New York City is struggling right now with a bit of crime. And again, this will all settle out. But to your point, be cognizant of where you choose to go, because what it was before COVID and what it is right now as we recover is two different things.
Yeah, and stay off the beaten path. I mean, I've been promoting off the beaten path since before it was even a thing. So off the beaten path is my favorite thing to do. So even in places that are very over touristed. So like, for example, Venice, one of my favorite cities in the world.
Yeah, me too.
I very, very, very rarely, unless I have to get on a ferry to somewhere, go into St. Mark's Square. Almost never. And literally, I get lost in Venice and that's why my coffee's called Lost in Venice, because we love to do the off the beaten path. You know, go, if you think you should turn right, go left. We've found little backstreet gelato places that are the best gelato in the entire planet. We found like a hot chocolate place, and it says outside hot chocolate. So we go, oh, and it's literally in the middle of, like, you think nobody would ever find it ever in the world. And you go there and it said hot chocolate. What size would you like? Would you like this size or this size? And we're thinking, well, it's a hot chocolate, you know, surely we would have a bigger hot chocolate, so we'll go large. So she starts pulling it in this sort of keg thing, and it was literally hot chocolate with a spoon. Here you go. Hot chocolate with a spoon, and we're like,
a liquid chocolate bar. That's great.
Exactly.
No, but you bring up a really good point. It's like when if you want a holiday where you're touring around, it's so worth the investment to find and hire a local tour guide, right? I'm not talking like with a group of 10 people that's carrying a flag and you follow the person with the flag, and there's nothing wrong with that either. There's great tours like that, but in certain destinations, like we had the opportunity to have a personal guide to tour the Grand Bazaar in Turkey, right, in Istanbul. And you talk about those alleyways, there were things that you never would have known about that these guys knew about. And then, you know, even if it's just for a day or two, and then it's almost like, I'm digressing a bit, but this kind of ties right into it. It's like you go to a big city, you know, you can get on the hop on, hop off bus.
Yes.
If you've never been to the city, it's the touristy thing to do, but it gives you a good overview of what that city's like.
Yeah.
Right. Do it for a day, and then you can tour and you have an idea of where you want to go to. So you find those gems and those stories, and as I said before, those postcard moments in your life, right? So
yeah, definitely. I love to lead groups, and even more so now, post-pandemic, because I think people want that sort of comfort factor. So for Keith's birthday, just recently, I've booked a tour to Istanbul, and you mentioning Istanbul, for the Grand Prix. So I'm going to take a small group of people, because actually it's an incredibly reasonably priced Grand Prix. So we're going to do the Istanbul, and we're going to, tour all of that. And then I want to go on the hot air balloons in Cappadocia and stay in a cave hotel. That's bucket list for me. I'd love to do that. That would be amazing. And we've got people that will help. And I think if travel agents can go with their small groups, if they arrange small groups and the travel agent goes with them, I mean, it's great, because you get to an airport. Like I took a bunch of people 2 years ago with Massimo Capra, the celebrity chef, and we went to Myanmar. And we get to Myanmar, and we get to the check-in to go to Myanmar and they said, no, sorry, the flight isn't, your flight is cancelled. No, your booking is cancelled. No. Oh, not your booking, and not your booking, but the middle one. We're all on three PNRs, same booking. And same PNR, should I say. 3 bookings on the same PNR. And the middle one was cancelled. And I'm like, what? And these people are in their 80s, and they're going to Myanmar, and they're all panicking because they're like, no, it's cancelled. Anyway, I just went ahead, paid for a new flight. We'll figure it out later. I'll fight them later. We'll do whatever. I've already put it on my credit card. We'll figure it out later. Off we go. But it's things like that we can take care of without stressing the guests out. And we could just go, yep, we did that. We organized it, and then figure it out afterwards, but places like that, people are a little bit nervous to go to. So I think some travel agents are now starting to do more of those tours and more of those travel experiences.
Yeah, lead your own groups. It's fantastic. Talk about the ultimate protection, right? So, it's one thing, like technology is great now, because there's all types of tools that travel advisors use to keep in touch with their clients when they're traveling. But nothing beats if they're standing right beside them at the check-in. So well done.
That's it. I love it. I mean, it means we get to travel. We're taking people to this concert at Bocelli, and we're just going to rent 2 cars. Keith will drive one, and I'll drive another, and social distancing all the way. We're all fully vaccinated, so it'll be fine. And that's the way to go. But I'm going to do more of those, because I love it. I mean, Christmas markets, and go take people to the countryside of England. I mean, I used to run.
What's on your bucket list?
Well, I used to run the Downton Abbey fan club, because my kids went to school in Berkshire, and to boarding school. Millie, my daughter, who's 31 now, she I could use to hook me up with certain things. So we ended up going to a cocktail party at Downton Abbey, Highclere Castle, which was fantastic. And but my bucket list, I would say, I would love to go to Turkey. I've never been to Turkey. One of the first places I'm going to take travel agents to on a mastermind fam is going to be the Maldives, because it's actually a beautiful country, and it's become hugely popular with travel people looking for that off the beaten path, 1 hotel, 1 island, beautiful ocean, and 98% water and 1% holiday hotel.
Yeah.
So there probably. And I'd love to go to New Zealand, but that's not going to open up anytime soon. That's not going to be a possibility soon.
New Zealand is spectacular. It's a long way, but it's well worth it once you get there.
So tips for people flying. I usually buy a premium economy. If I'm going that far, I would buy a premium economy flight and use points to upgrade to business. And
Good
I do
call.
it straight away. And as soon as you book it, make sure that there's availability. As soon as you book it, use the points upgrade. It costs you much less than a full fare business class flight, and you end up with a flatbed. And then the flight becomes part of the vacation. It's part of the fantastic experience. You get on a plane and you have a glass of champagne and a fillet steak and and watch a few movies. And if you go on Air Canada, you can see me on the TV screens at the moment because I've got 4 of my episodes of Post-Pandemic Bucket List right on Air Canada planes at the moment. So yeah, it's just a part of the experience. It's the fun. The journey starts the minute you leave home at 5 a.m. in the morning and you get to the Starbucks to buy your coffee. Well, not anymore because I've got my own coffee here.
Exactly.
But you get to the Starbucks to buy your coffee, to go to the airport. And it's just part of the experience. It's that feeling of you're going somewhere new, or you're going somewhere you've been to before that you love. And you're going to have a wonderful time because there's very rarely a bad travel experience if you've booked it with a travel agent.
No, it's true. That's the little, it's all the little stuff, right? The little ins and outs that make the holiday and then make the experience when you're in destination. So good for you.
Yeah. What's your favorite place to go to? What's on your bucket list?
See, that's loaded, right? You have to ask it as it relates to what. So like
who you with and what you,
and a family vacation on a beach in Mexico is fantastic. I'm thrilled with that. I'm a big architecture fan, so Paris is spectacular. Istanbul, what Paris is to architecture is the same what Istanbul is, which is get there. It's brilliant. But I've been to so many great places that I got rid of my bucket list because I've been to places that should have been on my bucket list, but I didn't know existed. But there's the one thing I want to do first. Well, I want to do Italy with the family, but I want to see the migration. I want to go to South Africa and do the safari thing. I've heard spectacular things.
Yes.
I want to go on Paul Gauguin, which is a small cruise ship in Tahiti. Mm-hmm. That anybody that has done it that I've spoken to has done nothing but rave about it. Look at that, the elephants. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that safari and the migration would be brilliant. Carry on. I'm listening. I'm just posting up the pictures while you're saying.
Yeah, but you're killing me here with these pictures. So, look at that. So those are top of mind right now. Galapagos. I really want to get to.
Yeah.
I was able to do the Amazon, which was incredible. We did that with G Adventures. Absolutely spectacular to be in the Amazon forest. It just unbelievable. So, seize the opportunities, right? They're it's just that the world, we're very fortunate where we live. We truly are. And I'm so grateful every time I come home. But get out and explore the world.
Explore and enjoy and do things that are slightly out of your bucket list. And also, like you said, bucket list is not always there's a lot of places that you don't think you want to go to, and then you go to and you go, like Myanmar. I loved Myanmar. Oh my gosh. I mean, obviously you can't go now, but I absolutely loved Myanmar. I thought Myanmar was just so fantastic. Galapagos. So Monica, good morning, Monica. Monica was saying Galapagos in February. Well, yes, I'd love to go to the Galapagos. I don't know anything about it, but adventure tourism is big now, right? It's coming back and it's
but
huge.
Monica will tell you there's a lot of adventure tourism right now that is super luxurious.
Yes.
Like it's hardly roughing it.
Like the scenic eclipse and those sorts of things. And yes, please. I will
Yeah.
definitely take that. Hurtigruten. I'd love to do the G Adventures one as well. I mean, I'm a big fan of river cruises, because river cruises like Amur Waterways, they've been operating all year last year, safely. Yep. Nothing went wrong, and they operated all the way through the summer. And they, things like that they are companies that people need to, to go on those sorts of experiences and definitely enjoy. I mean, yeah.
If you like river cruises, have you done the south of France on a river cruise?
Yes, and I love it.
If you like wine.
Yes.
And you're on a river cruise, and they pull into these little gorgeous towns, and it's just outrageous.
It's amazing. We love wine, we love coffee, and that's why we want people come in here and talk about the, keep the dream of travel alive. Like, they come in here and they buy the coffee, and then they go, oh, this is nice. Oh, we could look at that. Oh, look at that. Like, right behind me is a picture of France. See?
Yeah. So it's one thing that Lee and I do when we travel is we always look for a small piece of art, just a small, let's say it fits in your bag and it's great. So if you walk around our house, we have these little pictures from all over the places that we've been fortunate to travel.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then that's just nice memories. But I don't need another baseball cap. I have enough of those. But these little pieces of art that you can get on the street are just fantastic.
And that usually local people have done. So therefore, you're putting the money into the local's pocket rather than buying something that's been mass produced somewhere and not gone into. Because one of the things that I am huge on is sustainability and responsibility. The responsible tourism, it's where I get my coffee. I buy coffee. So as you know, we open the coffee shop. So we can get Lavazza coffee or Illy coffee for about $26 for a wholesale 5-pound bag. I pay $62. Why? Because I know where that coffee comes from. I know the farms that it comes from. I know who we're taking care of. It's premium coffee. It's not got chemicals on it. It's good stuff. And I stand by that. I don't care. I don't need to make, as much as Starbucks do on a coffee. This is more about keep the dream of travel alive rather than anything else. But people need to do that when they travel. And remember that let's take Vietnam for a minute. Vietnam, it's closed. It's closed to tourism just as we are. It's closed. But they don't have CERB like we do. So all the people have been literally the ones that rely on tourism to come in and buy their little trinkets that they're making. They've had nobody. So when you travel, if you can buy the things that a local has made, then you are helping the community. You're leaving the place in a better way than when you went there.
Well, and you know what? You bring up a really good point with that. Because we know that when we get into destination and we buy some of those little arts and crafts that are done locally, and we know that negotiations is part of the fun of doing it. But you know what? Sometimes 10 extra bucks isn't going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes a hugely long way with the person that's there. So, pick and choose where you want what you want to do, but don't go so hard on them sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, you know what? I could talk to you all day. I'm going to show you the front of my coffee shop because I did say that I was going to do this live from the coffee shop. And I've had 17,000 people on that post that I posted yesterday. So I'm going to show you round. So right behind me here, that's Japan, as you can see. And then on this side is Paris. So you can see
nice, the Eiffel Tower.
Little Paris and my Eiffel Tower and my awning. And then we have here England. So this is the English pub. So there's our English pub.
Great. There's Big Ben.
And then this is the Harry Potter moment right here. So I have a story about that, and I hope the airport's not listening. So I contacted the airport and I said, can I have a trolley? Can I have a broken one? And they said, no, Lorraine, we don't have any really. So then eventually he said to me, listen, people take the trolleys, the carts, off the airport property and then just dump them. And he said, they no longer belong to us at that moment. Oh. He said, so if you happen to be passing something that's on the side of the road and it's not on airport property, it no longer belongs to us. Oh, he said, Keith, get in the car. We found one at the back of a Tim Hortons. And we just said, so I said to the guy, I said, I'm scared. Am I allowed this? He said, it's not ours. It's Sunday. We've got nobody picking them up. He said, it doesn't matter to us.
That's great.
Load it up. So we got a trolley but then look at this. This is cool. This is my tricycle. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can. That's fantastic.
So that's the cold brew. And we're going to be doing cold brew coffee, like in the markets and things. So it's going to be.
You know what you can do? You could sell hot chocolate out of that thing.
It's the middle of summer, Lindsay.
I know, I'm joking. It's your hot chocolate story.
What we could do though, we could do cold brew with chocolate in. No, that's not gonna work. An iced tea as well. But yeah, so that's my little place, and the whole idea is to get people to come in and say hello and talk about travel. So yeah, which is
well, we will definitely come out to Niagara region and see you.
Very good.
And you looking forward to.
You can pick up a picnic basket. These are old 6 quarts that we've lined with fabric.
Yeah, nice.
A basket and go wine tasting.
Oh, I love that. That's fabulous. I look forward to it.
Great. Well, we've talked way longer than I expected, but I could talk to you all day. So I thank you so much for giving me so much of your time and your inspiration and your ideas and your insights and everything. And I love talking to you about travel and everything. And thank you, Michelle, another travel agent. She came in because what's happening as well is once we're allowed to open, travel agents can bring their clients here, and they
wow.
Yeah, they can come and do their client meetings here just because why not? So it's cool.
That's great. Well, congratulations on the shop. It looks fantastic, and I love what you're doing. And we'll come in and see you very soon.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. And it's been great chatting, and stay well, and hope we'll get to see you soon in person.
I look forward to it. Take care, Lorraine.
Okay, take care too. Bye.